If tea and treats, books and shopping sounds like your kind of an ideal day, then this is the video for you. My name is Paula and this is Relatively Refined. Come spend the day with me. Our first stop today is a store called Social Paper Company, and it's located in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, and it sells all things paper. They have stationery, writing paper, they have cards, they have boxed note cards, they do specialty invitations, wedding announcements, shower announcements, things like that. It really was so cute. I had such a fun time poking around, and I'm just going to show you around and give you a sampling of some of the things that they had. On this table, they had some beautiful coffee table books about the Queen and the royal family. This is a gorgeous box of stationery. The packaging was stunning, and then when you opened it up inside, it was absolutely beautiful. They had those gold foil seals for the envelopes. There was a stack of writing paper, and then the envelopes themselves, and that beautiful gold pen. I loved this box of stationery. Here is another one. I think this was a box of thank you cards or thank you notes. Isn't that artwork on the cover of the box stunning? I mean, even after the stationery is long gone, you want to hang on to that box because it is so beautiful. And here is another example of these boxed sets. I was absolutely captivated by these. I thought they were gorgeous, and what a wonderful gift they would make. Here's another really pretty coffee table book about Monet's paintings. And then after this card store, we moved on to Barnes & Noble, one of my favorite places to visit. It just has such an assortment of things. They also had some really beautiful gift items and stationery items. If you're looking for a fun little love gift or a note card or something, it's a wonderful place to go. These tote bags here were embroidered. I thought they were so pretty. My mom and I both love tote bags just as much as we love cozy mysteries and cards and stationery. This was a whole display of some really cute Kate Spade products. There were note cards, puzzles, stickers, stationery, all kinds of fun things. This was a really cute note card set. And then I walked around to the cards because I did have some cards that I needed to purchase. I thought those blank flower cards were gorgeous. And of course, I had to stop and look at the books. These were some of the recommended summer reading books they had at the front on a big display. And then further back in the store, they had a section for classic literature. And look at these gorgeous editions of these classic novels. There's Emma, Persuasion, Jane Eyre, Wuthering Heights. Absolutely stunning. I was so tempted by these. How beautiful would these look on a bookshelf? There's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. Here are some more. Middlemarch by George Eliot. Madame Bovary. absolutely beautiful. I love the color combination on that. And they were kind of like a linen cloth covered book, absolutely beautiful. It was so fun. I think if they had had these editions when I was in school, it would have been a lot more enticing to read these classic works of literature because of their beautiful covers. Now, don't get me wrong, I love to read and love all of these books that I just showed you, but how gorgeous are these covers? I loved this, The Complete Sherlock Holmes. I have never read The Complete Sherlock Holmes. I need to put that on my to-be-read list. There's a box edition of all of Jane Austen's books. You could buy them individually or in boxed sets. Les Miserables. So pretty. I am home now, and I had an absolutely wonderful time poking around a beautiful stationery store and a couple of bookstores. Those are my happy places. I love cards and stationery, and of course, I have loved books my whole life, and I continue to read as much as I possibly can. So let me share with you a few things that I picked up when I was out today. June is a busy month in our family. We have a lot of birthdays. We have graduations, 2 graduations this year, anniversaries, all kinds of things that happen in June. Not to mention we have Mother's Day in May. And I picked up a variety of different cards. I picked up this beautiful little card that has a violet on it. One of my good friends at school is retiring this year, and she has a brand new grandbaby named Violet, and I thought I would get her this little card for part of her retirement love gift from me. It's just so gorgeous. And I'll show you what I got to go with that. So I'm going to gift her with these beautiful note cards. It says, "A little note." So that will just be a little retirement love gift from me for her. I also picked up this small notebook. I should probably take these out of the plastic papers, but I will eventually. This is so pretty with the gorgeous wisteria hanging branches on it. It's gorgeous. And I got this to use for my passwords because I am forever forgetting what my passwords are. I have most of them on my phone, but not all of them. So I thought I would keep a written copy of them somewhere in case I don't have access to my phone and I need to find out what my passwords are to a variety of things. I got a couple of different Mother's Day cards. I got this one, which is, what is that? I think that's Lupin on there. It's absolutely beautiful. I love the way this card feels. It has a textured cardstock that it's printed on, and it is by E. Francis Paper Company. It's absolutely beautiful. And then I got this, which is a pop-up card. And I love these 3-dimensional cards. I think these are so cute. So this I will send to my mom, and it pops up and says Happy Mother's Day on it. And it has a watering can, as you can see there, with a bouquet of flowers. I got a few birthday cards because we do have several birthdays in June. So this one is very, very cute with the little birds on the wire. And that says Happy Birthday. And this is one of my favorites. It's the flower garden, and it has these beautiful drawings of these gorgeous summer flowers. Absolutely stunning. This is by Cavallini & Co. And then I think this is by, the one with the birds, which is so darling, is by Juju Paper. I also picked up by Abigail Jane this birthday card with the cupcake on it. I think that is so adorable. And it simply says Happy Birthday, but just so pretty in its simplicity. And then I wanted to get a graduation card for my daughter who's graduating from high school. And I did not like any of the traditional graduation cards that they had. So I got this one, and it has a quote
by Jane Austen, which says, "Know your own happiness." And I thought that was so beautiful. And I think she'll appreciate that as well. And I'm a big Jane Austen fan. I also picked up for my mom these beautiful Sarah Miller note cards. Let me open this up. It's this gorgeous box, and then it pulls out, and you have the note cards on the inside. So it pulls out of there, and then you have the note cards. And let me just see if they're all the same. Oh, no, they have different ones. So there are a couple of different styles. There's this beautiful purple with the peacock on it. And let me see. Then this gorgeous coral colored one with flowers and butterflies and lemons. So stunning. And then they come with these beautiful pale green envelopes. And my mom is also a big fan of cards and note cards. And so I got this for her birthday, because her birthday is in June. And I've already given her her Mother's Day gift, which was some paper napkins and plates that I got at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City last summer. I was saving them for her. And a beautiful deck of cards that showed charcuterie board food choices and wine pairings. And she really enjoyed that. And then for myself, I got this beautiful boxed stationery gift set. And it comes with cards, envelopes, and a gold pen. And if I can, what I'll do is I'll open it up and I'll insert some footage right here of how absolutely gorgeous it is. I love the beautiful, delicate drawings on this stationery set, and the colors are just gorgeous. And then the last thing that I picked up was a used book. It is a Treasury of Hercule Poirot Mysteries by Agatha Christie, and I love Agatha Christie. Ever since I was a little girl, I've loved mysteries, and so does my mom. We really are fans of the cozy mystery genre. And I can remember that she had a little paperback book that was by Agatha Christie. It was a Hercule Poirot mystery, and then she had a Miss Marple. I remember the Miss Marple one was Murder at the Vicarage, which is still one of my favorites. And I cannot for the life of me, I think it was Death on the Nile was the one that the book she had that was a Hercule Poirot. But this book contains several stories. It has The Mysterious Affair at Styles, Murder on the Links, The Grey Cells of Monsieur Poirot, and I think that's it. There are 3 complete stories or complete books in this treasury. So I figured this will be great beach reading or summer reading once school is out. I can't wait to dive into this. And as I said, I love Agatha Christie and Agatha Christie novels, which brings me to the next part of this video. I thought it would be really fun to bring together my 2 loves, my love of books and my love of all things tea related, in a new segment for our channel. I'm calling it Steeped in Stories, Tea Time Tales. And what I'm going to do is share with you some of the books that I'm currently reading, and then I'll select one of those books, talk about it a little bit more in depth, and then share with you what I think would be an excellent pairing of tea and treats for that book. Then we'll get to the kitchen and we'll whip that up. So what's currently on my bedside table right now are several books. The first one is Agatha Christie Marple, and it's 12 short stories written by modern authors that are inspired by Agatha Christie's detective figure, Miss Marple. She's a little old lady. For those of you who don't know who Miss Marple is, she is one of Agatha Christie's most well-known detectives. She's a little old lady who lives in the village of St. Mary Mead, and she's just very sharp, and she solves crimes by observing people. And this book is a series of short stories inspired by the Miss Marple stories by Agatha Christie. So that's one of the books that I'm reading. The next book that I have and that I'm going to be reading is called Once Upon a Murder. And these are all books that I checked out of my local library. And this takes place in 1784 in England. Miss Tiffany Woodall must sleuth the slaying of a footman to clear her beloved's name in the second Lady Librarian mystery in the vein of Deanna Rayburn and perfect for fans of Bridgerton. So this is like a period piece in a crime novel or a cozy mystery novel, really, because they're not very bloody. I don't like them if they're too bloody and gory. I do really prefer the cozy mystery type of stories. So I'm really looking forward to this. And when I finish it, I will tell you a little bit more about it. And then the next thing that's on my bedside table is Dragonwell Dead. And this is part of the tea shop mystery series that takes place in Charleston, South Carolina. I've talked about this before. The author is Laura Childs, and there are a number of these books in this series, and this is one that I haven't read. So let me just see what it says. It's spring in Charleston, and just about every species of South Carolina's flora is in full and glorious bloom at the Spring Plantation Ramble. So I thought this was perfect for this time of year since it is spring and I live in Charleston. I could not resist this when I saw it on the shelves of my local library. This also includes, I think, some tea time tips and recipes. So there's that one. And then finally, the last book that I have in my stack of to-be-read books on my bedside table is Understood Betsy by Dorothy Canfield Fisher. Now, I've read this book probably 100 times. It is my all-time favorite book. I had this book when I was a child, and I read and reread this book many, many times. And it's about a little girl who lives with two of her great aunts. She's kind of an orphan, I think, and she lives with her great aunts. And one of them becomes sick, and she is shipped off to her dreaded Putney cousins, and they are these cousins of hers who live in Putney, Vermont on a farm. And she is from the city, and she's a very pale and sickly type of girl, and here she is being shipped off to Vermont. It's a wonderful story, and if you ever get a chance, if you haven't read it, I highly, highly recommend you reading this. So those are the books that are on my bedside table currently. So what I'm going to do now is decide which of these books that I'm going to do a tea and treat pairing for. And even though Dragonwell Dead seems like the perfect choice because it takes place in Charleston, it takes place in the spring, it's already got the tea and recipes in it, I really, really wanted to pair it with the Agatha Christie Marple inspired short story book. I love this book. It is really incredible to see how much the authors of these short stories really captured the essence of Miss Marple in the way that Agatha Christie did. Miss Marple is, as I said, she's an older lady. She lives in the village of St. Mary Mead, a very, very quiet village in England. Not a whole lot happens there. However, years of living in her village has made her an expert on human nature. And she solves crimes by relating the crimes to experiences or episodes of things that have taken place in St. Mary Mead. So she really picks up on the fact that human nature is human nature, whether it's in a small English village or it's in a bustling city like New York. And she always kind of is very self-deprecating in terms of how sharp she is. But don't be fooled. Underneath her curly white hair is a very, very sharp mind. And definitely that point is driven home in each of these short stories. And they are so representative of the type of story that Agatha Christie wrote that I could not help but just sit down almost in one sitting and finish this book. I absolutely love it. I don't know when it came out. I think it's been out for a couple of years. Let me see. Okay, so it was published in 2022. So it's been out, as I said, for a couple of years. It is absolutely wonderful. And if you can find this at your local library or bookstore, I recommend that you grab this. If you are an Agatha Christie fan at all, you will really love this. I was a little bit worried that I wouldn't like it because I am such an Agatha Christie fan. I thought, who could hold a candle to her and the way she writes? But I have to say, these writers did a wonderful job. I like some of the stories better than others, but I liked them all. I just thought some were just really so wonderful, and I enjoyed it. But it shows her, Miss Marple, doing her thing in everything from an English village to Macy's department store in New York City. So if you can get your hands on this and you're an Agatha Christie or a Cozy Mysteries fan, I highly recommend it. I also like that it's short stories because sometimes at night, you know, that's about all you have the energy for is to read a short story. So you can read the mystery from beginning to end. It really, I think, is quite a skill to be able to wrap something up in such a short amount of time. So this is the book that I have chosen to do the tea and treat pairings for. So now let me talk to you a little bit about what we're going to pair with this book.
It's a couple of days later, but what I did decide to make to go with this book, Agatha, which is a series of, as I said, short stories by modern day authors that are based on the Miss Marple character, which is a creation of Agatha Christie, was something that is as quintessentially English village as Miss Marple is. Now, Miss Marple, as I mentioned before, is a little old lady who lives in a very small English village called St. Mary Mead. And what is more classically little old British lady than your classic cream scone? So what I made was an English cream scone. I got the recipe from this beautiful book, The Art of Tea, which is put together by the producers of Victoria magazine, one of my favorite magazines, by the way. And this is recipes and rituals. And the recipe that I used came from this book, and it's absolutely gorgeous book. The photographs are stunning. Let me see if I can put my hands. Here we are. Traditional scones. And this is the recipe that I followed, and I will put this recipe in the description box. Very, very simple. What I did to kind of zhuzh it up a little bit was to make a glaze out of heavy whipping cream and confectioner's sugar, and then sprinkle a few lavender flowers on top of each of the scones. I'll hold one up here, or I will insert a close-up of the scones. And I did that because Miss Marple loves her garden. She's always out working in her garden. It's sort of an excuse to be nosy and look around at the neighbors. So she kind of pretends to be working in her rose garden, and she just has her ear out listening to all the goings on and watching who's going where in her little village. So I thought I would make a classic traditional English scone. And then for the tea pairing to go with that, there is nothing more quintessentially English or golden age crime English tea to me than a Darjeeling tea. And I used a Twinings Darjeeling. And that's because when I think of a Darjeeling tea, I think of the East India Tea Company, which is a British tea company, and kind of British colonialism, the British Empire, all of those things come to mind when I hear the word Darjeeling. And that makes me think of just your classic English tea. So what I did was brew up a pot of Darjeeling tea. I have my traditional scone, and I think those are the perfect pairing for this book. What I'm going to do is pour myself a cup of tea and then talk to you a little bit about the other books that I had on my bedside table or my to be read pile. So let me bring those up here. This, as I mentioned before, Once Upon a Murder is a Regency romance. This was a fun read. It's got all of the classic elements of a Regency romance. There's, love thwarted, love gone wrong. It has the woman pining after the man of her dreams who is not free or available to marry her, and he returns her love, but he's unable to marry her, and all that kind of overly dramatic Regency romance stuff that's wonderful. And it's just a fun read, and I enjoyed the book. It's Once Upon a Murder, as I said, by Samantha Larson. I checked this out from my local library, and it's something that would be a great beach read. You can read it in a couple of afternoons. I read it almost all in one sitting one day when it was raining. I just sort of sat on my couch and read this, and it was really, really fun. I mean, it's not anything that's too taxing on the brain. The murder is, again, a cozy mystery. There's not a lot of blood or gore, and it was just fun. And she's a librarian, so that made it all the more fun for me because, as you know, I love a library and I love books. So I would recommend that as a summer read, Once Upon a Murder. Then the other book that I read and checked out of my library is Dragonwell Dead. And I've mentioned this series before. It's by Laura Childs. And it's a series that is based around a fictitious Charleston tea room. And so it's really fun because the book references a lot of local sites and locations. So that makes it particularly fun for me. And I just love the wonderful descriptions of the cozy tea room. The main character's name is Theodosia Browning. So she's a descendant of Theodosia Burr, I guess, who was the daughter of Aaron Burr, who was the political rival of Alexander Hamilton. But it's just such a fun and easy read. And the descriptions of the tea room and the cozy tea room and the food and the tea service is just so fun. And she has an employee named Drayton, who's an older kind of a lot of starch in his collar gentleman who is her master tea blender, and then a young girl who is a magician in the kitchen who whips up delicious treats to go with the tea. And it's just a fun read. And this is one of the earlier ones in the series. There are lots of books in this series, and you don't have to read them in order. But, she does change and evolve in terms of where she lives and things like that. But you can read them absolutely out of order. And this was a wonderful read. And the book also at the end contains recipes for some of the things that are mentioned in the book itself. So, for instance, one of the recipes at the end of this one is, let me see, profiteroles, mini pecan muffins, lemon jumble cookies, bacon and red pepper quiche, key lime scones, which sound actually really, really good and like something I would really enjoy. So Dragonwell Dead was a great, fun summer read or springtime read as it takes place in the spring in Charleston. And then finally, I got at a used bookstore, and I mentioned this earlier in the video. I picked this up at that used bookstore in Mount Pleasant, and that is this Treasury of Hercule Poirot mysteries. And I love him. He is a Belgian detective, very fastidious, very smart. And these are three of his full novels, and they're always fun. I mean, it's just the twists and turns. Agatha Christie was just such a talented writer, and the way her mind worked. And I always struggle to guess the murderer in her mysteries because she's just so incredibly clever. Sometimes in a murder mystery, I know from the outset who the murderer is, but not always mostly not in Agatha Christie, actually, just because she's so clever in the way that she writes. So those are the books that I have recently read, and I've really enjoyed all of them. They're just really fun fun reads. They'd make great summer reading. But I am always looking for suggestions for summer reading. As I said, I'm a big fan of the cozy mystery genre. I am going to be doing some more book talks in upcoming videos because I have ordered some books which I think should be in soon. And of course, I'll be visiting the library. But I would love for you to leave me some suggestions in the description box or in the comments section about what you're currently reading or what you've enjoyed or any mystery series that you love, because my mother and I have loved the cozy mystery genre forever. I mean, as I mentioned, it started with my Nancy Drew collection and went on from there. I always remember my mom reading Agatha Christie and Nio Marsh and Dorothy L. Sayers. Those are some of my favorite authors. So I have my perfect Agatha Christie pairing of my traditional scones and Darjeeling tea. And speaking of tea, I wanted to share with you something that I recently found that I think is absolutely adorable. We're thinking about possibly carrying this in our shop, our online shop. And I'd love to know your opinion about it, or if it would be something that you would be interested in possibly trying out. As I was putting together this video and thinking about pairing books and tea, two of my favorite things, by the way, I discovered this company called Chapters Tea and Coffee, and they make the most adorable packaging for their tea, which is all based around books or book characters. So for instance, this is the Gingerbread Bookshop, and it's a black tea with gingerbread flavors, and look at the artwork on that. Absolutely adorable. And let me show you some of the others. Okay, this one is called Chai Cafe Vanilla, and look at the artwork on that. It's like a little bookstore cafe. It says, our artist's drawing of a cozy cafe is a place made to unwind and take in the story of your life and those around you. Taste a delightful flavor profile of spices, vanilla, and a lively ginger finish accentuated by candy cardamom that tastes great hot or iced. I just think these are so adorable. This is Picnic at Pemberley, which would also be a wonderful tea to serve with these scones and drink with your Agatha Christie book. This is inspired by Jane Austen's masterpiece, Pride and Prejudice. Relax and enter the world of Elizabeth Bennet, Mr. Darcy, and the rolling hills of Pemberley with every sip. How cute is that? I just love these. Hopefully the light is not, the sun's going down here, so hopefully it's light enough for you to see. I got two of those, and then this is Second Breakfast, inspired by The Hobbit. I mean, just adorable. It says, enter our fan-drawn rendition of the realm of hobbits, where friendship, nature, and the simple pleasures of life come first. I absolutely love that. And the company is a small company. It says, we are so happy you chose us as a companion on your journey to make your life story a little better, one cup at a time. I love that. I'm all about savoring the small moments in life. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, it is those little things that make a difference. Those are the things that we remember. Those are the joys of life. Oftentimes, you always think, you know, we're waiting for the next big thing, or I'm going to be happy when or if. And at the end of the day, looking back, those little things are the essence of life. Those are the things that matter. So it says, as a small business who does almost everything meticulously by hand, your support is invaluable. And it's just so cute. So as I mentioned, we are thinking about carrying these in our online shop. So if that's something that you think we should do, leave a comment and let us know. I will continue to buy them because I'm absolutely enamored of the artwork on these packages. They're just so cute. And they make coffee as well, but I just got the loose leaf tea to drink. As I'm sitting here stuck to one of these tea bags or packages is this note. This is a note. I'm going to hold this up. This is a note I left for my kids. It may be backwards for you. I made the scones yesterday, and I had everybody kept asking, they're all home from college now, and everybody kept asking, what are those for? Can I have one? So I made a dozen and I set some aside on my plate here, and I put this note on it that says, save these please for my video tomorrow. You can eat them when I'm done, because I knew I would be filming this part of the video. And I wanted to have at least one scone for me to taste and also to show you, and I let them eat the rest of them. But now that I'm finished filming this, they will be happy to know that they are free to eat the scones themselves now. So again, please leave your comments down below in terms of book recommendations. I hope you liked this sort of bookish kind of video. I love books and reading, and I do a lot more in the summer because I just have more time for it. Oh, Hazel, hi. You making yourself known? Yeah. So I'm always looking for recommendations. And I'm going to link a couple of videos up here for you to watch until our next upload. If you like books, one of the other types of books that I really enjoy are cookbooks. And I have a pretty decent collection of vintage cookbooks. They're actually right back here behind me. And I did a video early on when we first started the channel about vintage cookbooks. And because we were so new and such a tiny channel, I don't think it got as much play as it warranted. And I think it's really a fun video. So I'm going to link that video up here for you. And I encourage you to go ahead and take a look at that video, and it'll hold you over until our next upload. And as I mentioned, I will be uploading some more bookish content and also some more content out and about in Charleston. Shopping, sightseeing, thrifting, all of the good things. So thank you so much. If you enjoy this type of content, I would love it if you would give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment, and share it to someone who might enjoy this kind of a video. We, as I mentioned earlier, are trying to get to 10,000 subscribers this summer. So if you can help us on our way, we would greatly appreciate it. When you give us a thumbs up or leave a comment or share our video, it lets YouTube know that people like what we're doing. And we certainly hope that you enjoy what we're doing. And if you'd like to see something in particular, just drop us a comment or shoot us an email. Also, check out our online shop. I'll leave the link here. We have some really beautiful things, and we are getting in some more of the beautiful oyster shells from the UK. We had the bees and some other things, and we sold out of those twice, and we've ordered some more, so be on the lookout for that. All right, everybody, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.